Hi everyone, this is Ms. Hall and I'm either your student's geometry or statistics teacher. To start, a little bit about me. This is my 14th year of teaching, all here at Cocalico High School, and I am a Cocalico alumni, so I like to say that blue and white run through my veins. Here at Cocalico I'm involved in many things, mainly with coaching tennis, but I also help out with Leo Club, Minithon, and the German Exchange. So, a little bit about how the grading is going to go this year for your students. You can see both classes broken down there. They are very similar in their grading. Independent work this year is going to include the work that they complete at home. So, any projects, any homework assignments, any classwork that they're doing while they're at home on the days that they are not physically in school. And then their tests and quizzes will make up the rest of that. Marking period for their final grade, each marking period is 40% and their final exam is 20%. How I check homework for their independent work is what I've been doing is I literally roll a die, and odds are one day and evens are another day, and whatever it ends up at, that's the day that I check their work for when they were at home. So it's random, which means they have to always be doing their work at home. So that will go into their independent work, along with, again, any projects that we do, a couple things that we'll do in class, and things like that. So how is this going to look? Obviously, this looks very different for all of us. Most days when they're at home, they are doing the same thing that we are doing in school. It's just they are watching a video of the lesson instead of me teaching it in front of them. There are some days when it doesn't mirror what we do at school. For example, if we're taking a test or quiz at school, they'll be working on something else at home. And sometimes with review days, I've been switching it up to doing more of a whiteboard interactive review here, and then at home they have time to complete some example problems and review there. When they're watching the lesson videos at home, I've been trying to keep them shorter to keep them alert, and I've been including questions to also keep them alert. So when the questions come up, it typically goes over what I had just gone over in the video, so it kind of keeps them on their toes and makes sure that they are paying attention to the video. On Wednesdays, we do have Google Meet to start the class. I had been just kind of doing that just as an attendance to say hello and tell them what we were doing, but now I've been doing some more interactive things too. We've done some Kahoots and quizzes, so something to kind of kick off the day. And then I do leave that open for the rest of the block so that if they have questions, they can come back and ask me any questions that they might have. Papers. They will receive papers for the rest of the week on their first day back to school. So the Monday, Tuesday group typically gets their papers on Monday. That'll get them to the following Monday or whatever the next time they will be back in school is. And the Thursday, Friday group will typically get their papers on Thursdays, and that'll get them to the next Thursday. So that means they shouldn't really have to print anything from their computers. And I also gave them a notebook, so they have a place to be doing their work in the notebook as well. As I kind of mentioned before, tests and quizzes will always be taken in school. So it'll either be Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday, Monday. So they'll always be at school. That is why the at-home group will be working on a lesson with some review mixed in, and then they'll flip-flop when they come back to school. They'll take the test or quiz, and then that at-home group will do what they had done when they were taking the test or quiz. Materials, calculators. For the stats class, I had enough calculators since I only have one stats class that they could each have their own graphing calculator, which is definitely necessary for this course. So you might see them walking around or coming home with a graphing calculator. That is signed out to them and will be expected to be returned at the end of the semester. For the geometry students, they do not need a graphing calculator. I do not have enough of the regular calculators to go around. I haven't for them to take home and bring back, but I have enough for the students at school. So when they're at home, I do tell them they are allowed to use their phone calculator or a calculator online. They just need to make sure it has the square root option available to them. As far as notebook and scratch paper for them to write their work down, I gave every student a spiral bound notebook, and so far they have been good about bringing it to class and using it at home. So they always have some place to go and write their work down. So if for some reason they can't find a piece of paper at home, they have their notebook that they can just keep all their math work in there in order. So books. The statistics students do have their own books. Unfortunately, we do not have an online version of that book, so they will be taking their books back and forth between home and school. Geometry does have an online version, and so they have that version on their computer. It is on Schoology. We've been using that multiple times throughout the semester already, so they all have access to that, and that is on their computer. Other materials, they each have their own mailbox here. They might share it with somebody from the other group. For example, somebody from Monday, Tuesday might have to share with somebody from Thursday, Friday. But I sanitize any of the materials that they used in between, and I've been really trying to keep track of that and making sure that it is clean for everybody. So yes, they might still be using whiteboard markers and erasers. And scissors and calculators here, but I do sanitize them between each student use. So what does your student see at home? So I'm just going to take us into the geometry course. The statistics course is set up very similarly to this. This might look a little different for your student because I'm on the teacher end here, but the current week is always at the top of the page. Okay, and then it lists previous weeks down below. So if they need to go back and refer to other things, they can do so. Those are saved there. So they would go into current week. Today is the 21st, so the geometry students would be going into here. And then it guides them through the lesson. All right, it always starts with the checklist for what they're going to do today. Then there's a short attendance form, and then they get started with the warm-up and the actual lesson. It actually makes them go in order of the lesson that I want them to go in. So that's basically what the Schoology setup is like. Within there, there's some links for other tools that we might be using, but most of it will be right there in Schoology. So hopefully that helped you out to see what our class is like just a little bit. This is not exactly the situation that any of us expected or wanted to be in, but I am very happy that we are here at least some time during the week and we're not all online anymore like we were in the spring. So that's great that I get to see your students in class at least twice a week. And we're going to get through this. And I keep telling the kids that too. This is not the ideal situation, but we're going to get through this, and at least we're starting to get something back to normal. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to contact me. My email is there. I look forward to working with your students for the rest of the semester. Have a good evening.